What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And guys, for today's video I have several quite interesting news. I will show you more details about the most recent podcast that was hosted by Dennis Neal and the news and basically the evidence that was disclosed there by John Burda. And I have to admit that this evidence will definitely be a part of the current and upcoming lawsuits, and definitely it will lead us to much bigger developments in these cases. On top of that, I will show you that Dennis Neal is not the only person who is head of some kind of mass media who covers MMTLP saga pretty much on a consistent basis. On top of that, I will show you some updates from the litigation process and from the litigation processes, I would say. And definitely this might also be quite interesting for you. So, and before we dive deep into all of these, guys, please hit the like button for YouTube algorithm and drop me a line in the comment section if you think my videos are valuable for you. On top of that, if you want to know more about technical analysis, if you want to enhance your trading skills, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to join my Patreon account. And guys, to be honest, within the next couple of weeks, I will remove a couple of tiers, low-cost tiers. I will add much more perks, much more benefits for the Safe Haven tier and for the Gold tier as well. And it is pretty much your last chance to join my Patreon with just $1 a day. And take a look, let me show you the sneak peek of my recent calls. Just yesterday, as you can see, I made this call on Netflix when the price of this asset was $1.227. It was at 1 a.m. And I told to my patrons that it is a new opportunity to short Netflix. Then, guys, I covered this price action in a live pretty much basis. And right here, I identified 3 price targets for Netflix. And we hit all of them. On top of that, I told to my patrons that they can put their stop-loss orders in green and try to ride the trend, because we can hit much lower price targets. And guys, less than 24 hours before this call, I made another call, and it was a call on GME. Take a look right here. Wait a second, I will show you first of all the exact call. It was made on June the 10th. And it was a short put butterfly. You can see that within just several days it became profitable, and it was about 10% profit on the initial investment. This means, guys, 2 out of 2 successful calls within just a couple of days, and that is why you can rely on my technical analysis and you can join my Patreon for the low prices, at least for now. So guys, and let's begin today's video with the most recent information, most recent update from Dennis Neal. You know that just yesterday he made his podcast, and the special guest who attended to his podcast was John Burda. And John Burda explained a lot of quite interesting details about the MMTLP story. And one of the details was extremely important, and it was a pure bombshell that John Burda dropped through the Dennis Neal's podcast, and definitely this will lead to more updates in our litigation processes. But I will show you all the details within just several minutes. And for now, guys, let me show you that we have a lot of very good responses from MMTLP community. For example, Lowell Avery Music wrote this: corruption on Wall Street. Listen to Dennis Neal interview former CEO John Burda about the SEC, FINRA and the ongoing corruption scandal MMTLP. Mike Benz Cyber, you should do a deep dive on this issue. If you think use 8 was a big deal, it pales in comparison. Talk to Curtis as soon as possible. And we have much more this type of tweets. For example, another one was written by Aaron Ape MMTLP. And Iron Ape wrote, "We appreciate Dennis and Johnny more than you guys can possibly understand. The problem is that there are very large dark forces trying to sabotage resolution because they have a lot to lose up to, and including their freedom. Thank you for your support. And guys, I have to admit that this podcast was extremely helpful for MMTLP community because it attracts more attention to our story. At the same time, guys, one of the controversial parts of this podcast and the mention of Johnny Tobacco, in my opinion, is quite controversial. I will show you again in a minute what I'm talking about. But for now, first let me remind you that right here you can see Charles Payne, who is also one of the people who published several updates on MMTLP saga and who tried to help MMTLP community. On top of that, guys, it is not the end. Here you can see the tweet that was written by Squatch, and he wrote, "Big thanks to Rob Carter and Andrew Bailey for talking about MMTLP this morning on Real Talk 933 FM. Representative Ann Wagner was failed to take any action on behalf of Missouri constituents who have asked for her help. She won't even return an email regarding FINRA defrauding MMTLP." And guys, let me show you this in details, this several, basically 1.5 minute long part of this podcast.
This would be no different.
Excellent. Are you aware of MMTLP, the security situation, this stock situation? That's 65,000 investors, many in Missouri, and they've been calling me trying to get my attention focused on it because Ann Wagner is the reason they're calling me. Ann Wagner sits on the Capital Markets Committee in D.C. But apparently these people got defrauded out of their money, 65,000 investors, and they were asking me to ask you, does the Missouri Securities Act give you or allow you to investigate securities fraud? If the people defrauded are citizens of Missouri, does that give you any kind of investigative power or ability to look into it?
So actually, the Missouri Secretary of State regulates securities at the state level. So Denny's office is responsible for that and certainly would be willing to coordinate with him and be his legal arm as he conducts an investigation and needs those cases prosecuted in either criminal or civil court. We would stand ready to do that. And what I would say is that, you know, this just demonstrates the failure of the SEC. You know, it's a regulatory body that's supposed to serve we the people, and instead they serve them, the bureaucrats. This is one of the greatest existential threats to our democratic republic, in my estimation. When you have this autonomous, unelected bureaucracy, the founders would be rolling over in their graves at the notion that we would have consolidated power in one branch of government, unaccountable to we the people. I mean, that is contrary to everything we stand for as Americans, and shame on the SEC for not taking action on this issue.
Excellent. I agree.
Okay, guys, as you can see, we have more and more people who pays their attention to our case, and one of them is Attorney General Andrew Bailey. And I have to admit that this part of our journey is quite interesting because, well, for now, with the most recent updates, I see again I see the increasing momentum of the MMTLP saga. And despite the fact that our community is pretty much divided by several small pieces because of our points of view, and I also feel it in my comment section because some people, if they don't agree with my point of view, they just write that I'm a paid shill and I want to push our case down. Guys, definitely it is not my intention, and I'm not paid by anyone. I do it for you, for just retail investors, and I am also a retail investor, and I also work on this market, and I do my best in order to help the people like I am in order to achieve their financial goals. And I have to say that this type of interactions with different types of mass media leads to very important results. Scott wrote, and I mentioned about his tweet just yesterday, he also pointed out the most important part of yesterday's podcast with John Burda and Dennis Neal. John Burda stated that it was an ancient fund who contacted Greg McCabe and who asked for 10 million to issue 10 million shares to cover their short position. And he also, as you can see, he also talked at Jennifer Vetrano and Daniel Spears. And Daniel Spears wrote this in response to this tweet. She wrote, "Drew spotted my BK filing on June the 4th of 2025. Funny how polite his post was this time versus his hateful recap on my Texas complaint. I guess when you provide evidence of believed paid proxies, tuned change. He may want to keep his eyes peeled, because if he thought it was a Hail Mary, that tune might change there too." And guys, I have to admit that just several days ago, and I also covered it in one of my videos, Daniel Spears filed a new motion in bankruptcy, in MMAT bankruptcy case. And with this filing, I have to admit that we have all the chances to see, finally, to see the sensitive information that might help us to achieve our goal. On top of that, guys, it is not the end. I have to admit that, well, we also are waiting for a new lawsuit that will be filed by Daniel Oxer, and he will file it in a district or in a state court of Florida, if I remember it correct. And he just waiting for some additional details in order to put everything in line with his vision of this case. Unfortunately, I don't know all the details about his actions, but let me remind you that he is fighting not only in litigation field. And on top of that, guys, let me remind you that he has an active lawsuit as well, and he's pursuing the so-called non-litigational path to the resolution. That is why, guys, yes, on top of his fight for MMTLP community, he's also a writer, and it is very good to see his different talents. And let me show you another quite interesting update at this time. As I mentioned just several minutes ago, we have several people who were connected to MMTLP case, but for some reasons they are, they didn't do anything, and they haven't done anything at all. I have to admit that one of them is definitely Wes Christian, who was hired by John Burda as an attorney in his flamethrower company, and he is extremely silent about these actions, and we don't know what is the result of that investigation. On top of that, another person who was recently connected to MMTLP is Johnny Tabaka, and yesterday I showed you the tweet of Jennifer Vetrano, and she asked him about his involvement in MMTLP case, and he told that he was never connected to NextBridge hydrocarbons. But at the same time, guys, I showed you the official PR statement, and Jennifer Vetrano yesterday wrote the same exact, she published the same exact document, where you can clearly see that he was connected with his firm Token Team LLC to NextBridge hydrocarbons to provide some new innovative and dynamic strategies for delivering the potential liquidity solutions for shareholders. And Scott responded to this tweet. He may be the only guy with less credibility than Drew, Garcia, or Jay. Jennifer Vetrano wrote, "He's the guy that crosses over to all of these people. I would love to see these guys' methodologies to actually prove what they say, but it seems like investors are always left in the dark. Then some sort of backdoor deal is done and you never hear about it again." Well, guys, yes, I have to admit that we have a lot of actions that happened recently, and that was hidden by some forces, and these forces, unfortunately, the tracks of these forces leads me to NextBridge Hydrocarbons board of directors, and we have a lot of questions that for example, Greg McCabe need to answer. Unfortunately, he's still extremely silent in this field, but definitely one way or another we will achieve our goal. And one of the crucial parts that will definitely be used in the current and upcoming litigation processes is the fact, is basically the statement of John Burda, where he confirmed and he basically said that McCabe was contacted by Anson Funds to issue 10 million shares. Guys, for now it is all documented, and for now I know what is the source of this information. And that is why all the litigation processes will be updated with this information, and we will see what will be the next step of Anson Funds, and we also have to see some answers from Greg McCabe and John Burda in regards to this information. On top of that, I want to pay attention to another quite interesting result of the most recent podcast. NBH MMTLP, the person who filed more than 200 FOIA requests, and the majority of them, I would say all of them for now, was denied by authorities. But he also wrote this: Dennis Neal, John Burda, it's downright suspicious that the FOIA disclosures have completely omitted Anson Funds, Vanguard and Jane Street, especially since Mr. Burda explicitly named them. We are not guessing anymore. We know who the criminals are. Thank you, both of you. And he added several screenshots of the form where he mentioned Anson Funds. You can see it right here, Vanguard, and Jane Street Capital. And all of these companies were in the FOIA request that he filed, and basically he is still filing, I think, these requests. And we have only denials of these FOIA requests. And it is just my point of view. With this recent updates from John Burda, we can clearly say that something is wrong with these companies, with Anson Funds, Vanguard and Jane Street. And because of the denials, we can say that FINRA and SEC try to hide this information. And because of these guys, again, we can use this information in our litigation processes. And we will see it, I think, within the next several weeks. And let's continue with our litigation processes. We have several updates. For example, in Wilcott versus Securities and Exchange Commission case, we have order on motion to dismiss that was filed just yesterday, and extension of time to file answer. Let me show you this, these two recent documents. So, now under the docket 74, you can see it, unstopped motion for extension of time to file answer to second amended complaint by Next Bridge Hydrocarbons. Motion referred to Judge Ronald C. And here is an add-ons. Tax order mooting 49 motion to dismiss. Plaintiff filed the second amended complaint, which moots defendant's motion to dismiss. Once filed that, and this is the reference to another case, and it says, once filed, that amended complaint rendered all earlier motions, including the plaintiff's motion for partial summary judgment, moot. So it is so ordered, entered by Judge Ronald C. Griffin. This means, guys, we have an update in the plaintiff's second amended complaint, and all the responses that were made by the first edition of the second amended complaint is basically should be removed from the table, because it is not related to the updated second amended complaint. That is why, guys, well, it is some kind of procedural add-ons, but to be honest, without the access behind the paywall, I cannot say what was the changes in this second amended complaint made by plaintiff, by Contic Wilcott. And we definitely will see the results of this. Unfortunately, Contic Wilcott is not so active in his Twitter account to explain all the details about his case. But guys, believe me, we will find it out within, I would say, a couple of weeks. On top of that, let me show you that we have an update in Scott Roth versus Gary Gensler case. And just yesterday, it was filed main document stay. Let me show you what does it mean. Motion to stay discovered during pendency of respondent's motion to dismiss and memorandum in support in regards to this 12th motion to dismiss for failure to state claim filed by Gary Gensler. So this case is also active, and with the most recent update that I covered just several minutes ago, Scott can file another amended complaint in order to ask Gary Gensler, in order to file a subpoena and to ask Gary Gensler under oath what was his actions back in the days in regards to the fact that Greg McCabe was contacted by Anson Funds to issue additional number of shares. He can definitely say that he didn't know about this fact, but guys, believe me, this fact was mentioned by Greg McCabe in response to the FINRA's FAQ that was written, I believe, if I remember correct, somewhere in March of 2023. Or a little bit later. And this means, guys, I think Gary Gensler is in quite tricky situation, despite the fact that he's not in charge of SEC Commission anymore, but he was in charge of this huge company back in the days when the MMTLP saga happened. That is why, guys, stay tuned, and if you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel with notification bell, and see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gone live it up on the attack.